Do you struggle with shyness and social anxiety? Here's an idea I'm really excited about, that there are two fallacies that cause social anxiety and shyness. They're called the Spotlight Fallacy and the Brushfire Fallacy. I'll explain each one because they're pretty cool. The Spotlight Fallacy is, let's say you're shy and you're at a cocktail party or some kind of party and you're talking to people. And the Spotlight Fallacy is you feel like you're under a spotlight. That's kind of how I feel right now with all these lights. And you're a performer on stage, and you have to say something very clever or interesting to turn the other person on, but you're nervous, so your mind goes blank. And so you're racing to think of something to say, and you can't think of anything. And meanwhile, the other person notices that when they talk to you, you don't seem to interested in what they're saying, because that's because you're busy trying to figure out something clever to say to impress them. And pretty soon they say, hey, I just saw someone on the other side of the room that I need to go and talk to, and they leave. And then you end up rejected, which is just what you thought would happen. But it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and here's why that spotlight fallacy is a fallacy. And it was pointed out by the Buddha 2,500 years ago when he said, and if you've ever read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, I know you've found the chapter by the Buddha, which is awesome because he died in like 500 BC, and the Tibetan Book of the Dead didn't come out until 700 AD. And yet there he is with a guest chapter. And what he said is, people don't give a shit about you. All they care about is themselves. And that's the secret that social butterflies know. When they're at a party, they don't go around trying to impress people with themselves. They express an interest in others. They get people to talk about themselves, and people love that. You shine the spotlight on the other person rather than yourself. So that's the first tip on overcoming social anxiety. Now, it's easier said than done, but you have to have a starting place, know what you're trying to achieve. Now, what's the second fallacy that leads to shyness? Well, the second one is called the Brushfire Fallacy, and that's the idea that if you meet somebody and you say something lame or weird or peculiar or something that they don't like, they'll get really turned off, they'll not approve of you, they'll judge you, and then they'll tell other people because you're so important. So they say, oh, I met this fellow who said something weird at the party, or weird on the video for YouTube. I'll say something weird right now. Something weird. And so now you can all go tell everyone not to watch this video, and I hope you do, because then people get curious and my audience will build. But at any rate, I'm babbling. And to get back to the Brushfire Fallacy, it's paralyzing because you're afraid to be spontaneous. You're afraid to be yourself. And then, people do get kind of turned off. But the Brushfire Fallacy is a fallacy because although certainly some people do love to gossip and put people down, that's a part of human nature that we all have to contend with. I have to contend with that. But for the most part, people are unique. They think for themselves. People aren't all clones who think in exactly the same way. And just as there's a danger of people judging you, they're also going to judge the people who go around gossiping. So those are the two fallacies that cause social anxiety. Now, does knowing these things do you any bit of good? Well, tell you the truth, I've struggled with 5 kinds of social anxiety, and here I am talking to you and enjoying talking to you and eager to see what you think. Send me an email, let me know what you think. But these ideas have been very helpful to me, and they can be very helpful for you too. But remember, the intellectual understanding is just the starting spot. There will be more for you to do than just understanding. You're going to have to take some risks.